Okay, fantastic evening, Toastmasters. In today's business session, I'd like to let you all know that we are accompanied by our area director, Toastmaster Vijay, who is here. Let's acknowledge his presence. Thank you so much, sir, for coming in and witnessing our meet. Definitely a delight to have you here. And we also have Toastmaster Shiva, our BPM, with an update. So I'll let Shiva take over.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. I would like all of you to pay attention right now. The renewals for the next term, that is October to March, October 2023 to March 24, are already open. Right? So you can renew right now, that is by the 31st of July, at the same old rate that you were doing till now, that is at 4,200 rupees, which means 700 rupees per month. And only if you do this by the 31st of July. After that date, if you want to renew for October to March, then you will have to pay at an increased amount, which is an approximate amount of 5,500 to 6,000 rupees for the same renewal period. So you have now about 13 days left, and I request the members to renew as soon as possible. And do not keep it till the 31st of July. Your payment might not get submitted till that date. So do it as soon as possible. And all the payment details shall be shared once again on WhatsApp. And to all the new members, I would say there is no better time to join the club. You can also join right now at $45 itself instead of the increased amount of $60 later on. So this is a great opportunity to join the club right now. So that's it, and back to the president.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shiva. And now let the Sergeant take over.
This evening, as you all know, is earmarked for good fun, eloquent speeches, and great learnings for all of us, right? So it is our inevitable responsibility to make sure that we have a great meeting here today. The theme of the day today, as set by our MC of the day, is change is inevitable. To learn all about it and ensure that we remove all the evitable disturbances that we may have, we all have to make a small, temporary, inevitable change to our phone volumes today. Can we please turn that to 0 or put it on silent, and I'll wait while you do it. All done? Thank you. Great. So today I got a message on my WhatsApp which I thought really illustrated and explained the theme of the day very well. So there was a picture of a guy sitting on a railway track, and the saying below it said, I'm sorry, excuse me. Even though you are on the right track, it said, if you just sit there, you will simply get run over. Even though you are on the right track, if you just sit there, you will simply get run over. And that is so true, isn't it? So what do we have to do? We have to get up, we have to move, we have to adapt, we have to transform, we have to change. Change is inevitable. So change happens every day. It is omnipresent. It happens all the time. So much so that we often hear people say that change is the only constant, right? Everything around us changes. Nature changes, the seasons change. From winter to spring, summer to fall, nature shows us that she's changing every day. We change. We don't look like how we did many years ago. We will not look like this many years from now, right? Our skin will wrinkle, hair will gray, and we will say we gained experience and wisdom along the way. So our goals and expectations also change. What were our goals many years ago no longer are our goals now. Our priorities have changed. In the future, they will change again. So relationships change. People come into our lives. They develop, relationships flourish or fade with time, right? And people come into our lives and exit, reflecting the dynamic nature of relationships. Change is a fundamental part of life. So if change is so much present in our lives, what can we do about it? We can embrace it. We can welcome it. We can learn how to navigate. We can learn how to adapt to change, and we can grow with it. So I know a person who navigated change really well. He kind of started off in sales with Zomato and Swiggy. Later on, he navigated and transitioned to training and trained over 10,000 students in personality development. As he was doing it, he welcomed opportunities to go to events and judge events, as many as 60 all over the universities in the state, and now has currently found his niche as president of Achieve School of Education. And in his free time, he also travels, listens to audiobooks, and enjoys different cuisines. So Toastmasters and guests, please put your hands together and help me welcome the president of our club, Toastmaster Balaji.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Lakshmi, for that beautiful introduction. For the first time, all my wrong career moves were put such beautiful light. 6 years of time wasted, but now, yeah, I mean, with change is inevitable, suddenly looks beautiful, and thank you for that. Before we could continue the meet, we have a few guests with us. I request the guests to please raise and introduce who you are to our club.
I'm Apurva. This is my third time with Toastmasters. It's been a great experience.
Fantastic. Something about it.
I'm a housewife. I have a son. He's 3 years old. So yeah, he's in play school.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Welcome to our club. Yes.
Yeah, actually today I'm not a guest, I'm a member. So
Congratulations.
so hi all the Toastmasters. So looking forward to great culture in my communication skills.
Thank you so much. And we'd like to ask Toastmaster Vijay to actually thank him for joining us today, because it's a delight to have him there. I've been guided a lot by Toastmaster Vijay. It just goes on to show how dedicated he is for his role. So let's hear it for Toastmaster Vijay, who is with us, our area governor. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today.
Correction area
Director.
I am from the club called The Impression. Now I'm the area director for the division B4, and Meccan Communication comes under division B. Thank you so much, President Balaji.
Someone who definitely doesn't like change, but it's inevitable. She can sing, she can create art, she can bake excellent cakes for you, and yes, she is an academic genius for sure. An MBA from Christ, and a journey that's going to last real long, because time moves slow, there is what I heard. So let's have our secretary, Toastmaster Sharanye, for the secretary's report.
Thank you, Toastmaster Balaji. A very good evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and dear guests present here. Here are the minutes of meeting number 1221 held on 10th of July 2023. The theme was Infinite Possibilities. Word of the week was ebullient. The business session started at 6:24 p.m. and was chaired by President Toastmaster Balaji. In the business session, the following points were addressed. On behalf of Vice President Education Toastmaster Ujjwal, President Toastmaster Balaji mentioned that all the roles were open except Master of Ceremonies, one Evaluator and Table Topic Master for the next meeting. Interested members were requested to contact him for the same. The VPM Toastmaster Shivaprasad announced that the Toastmasters International will be increasing their membership dues to $60 from the month of October. If the members want to avail the benefit of $45, the membership renewal should be done within the 31st of July. The regular meeting started at 6:26 p.m. Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Lakshmi started the meeting with an introduction about the theme and later handed over the charge to President Toastmaster Balaji. President Toastmaster Balaji opened the meeting, spoke on the theme and introduced Master of Ceremonies Toastmaster Pavani. Master of Ceremonies Toastmaster Pavani spoke on the theme and introduced the following role takers for the day. Timer Toastmaster Raja, Accounter Toastmaster Sharanye, Grammarian DTM MU Bhat, PP Evaluator Toastmaster Keerthana. The prepared speech session had the following speeches. Toastmaster Shivaprasad attempting level 3 elective project which was evaluated by Toastmaster Gaurav. Toastmaster Sushruth attempting level 1 project 4 which was evaluated by Toastmaster Prashant. The table topic session was conducted by Toastmaster Jyothi and had 10 speakers. The general evaluation was conducted by Toastmaster Sindhushree. The winners of the week were Best Prepared Speaker Toastmaster Shivaprasad, Best Evaluator Toastmaster Gaurav, Best Table Topic Speaker Toastmaster Sai Snehal, Best Role Taker Tab G DTM MU Bhat, Best Role Taker MTG Toastmaster Sindhushree. The President closed the meeting at 8:42 p.m. which was followed by National Anthem. Thank you and back to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sharanye, for that detailed and elaborate report. It might come in as a shocker to kind of imagine that I had a big problem talking to girls when I was a kid. I would have my aunt come and speak to me, and would I react to that? No. I would have my grandmother come up to me and speak. Would I react to her? No. I would have a lot of my cousins who are girls. Would I react to them? No. And every single girl in my life at that point in time had just one change that they suggested me. You should start talking to girls. What will people think about you? I didn't somehow change, but with a lot of reiteration, reinforcement, post 4th grade, I started speaking to girls. And now that I started speaking to girls, I started speaking a little extra. It was not just my aunt, it was not just my friends, it was not just my cousins. I would talk to any girl that used to pass by. There was no girl who could pass by without telling me what her name was. And then we had a different concern. My teachers came up to me and they're like, you know what, Balaji, you need to hold your horses. It is okay to talk to people. It is okay to talk to girls. But please realize there are boys as well. Please understand that you need to talk to everybody. And why is it that you want to talk to every single girl? Kind of took that feedback. And in college, I started focusing on talking to boys. And now perceiving of my choices was taken in a very different manner. Now again they had a problem. Now again I was pushed to talk to girls, but I wouldn't. After a lot of forcing, I did start speaking to girls. And now that I am married, now I'm again asked to stop speaking to girls. So this constant change is inevitable. But of course, the fact that me speaking to girls or not speaking to girls is not the real essence that I want to bring out today. Your relationship with one person will always go through a paradigm shift. Today, she is someone who is actually lighting up your world. And tomorrow, she could be the same one who is going to take your world away from you. And only that person who is going to realize when the world is going to be snatched and the world is going to come in will be the one who will be thriving. The choice is always ours. Do you want to be a strong, muscular tree during the monsoon weather in Bangalore, or a nice, wavy coconut tree during the Bangalore monsoon weather? Because you all know after the monsoon is gone, which is the tree that stands still, wavy and beautiful. With that, I'd like to welcome each one of the Toastmasters, and I'd like to tell them that change is inevitable, and more than calling change is inevitable, I would just say change is beautiful, because the kind of things you learn with every change is what makes your life and its learning a constant. With that, I'd like to open this meeting. After I open the meeting, I'd also like to continue the meeting and to keep it as exciting as it always is. I have a fantastic Toastmaster of the day who's going to be joining me. She's a homemaker. She is an engineer by qualification. She's phenomenal when it comes to growth, because that's the kind of growth that she's shown all of us. And she has challenged herself that she will be taking up the entrepreneurial journey. Wishing her all the best for her entrepreneurial journey. Let's call up the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Mamatha.
Good evening, dear fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests who are present here in this hall. Change is inevitable. As a homemaker, nobody can change more than her. The moment she steps into the kitchen, every time she has to make idli, dosa, sambar or upma, the same ingredients she has to add. And the response which comes from the kids, and my kids are the toppers who can name, Ma, this is not good, this is not good. Every day you make this breakfast, every day you make the same taste. So what I started is, than putting the same masala differently, I powdered all the elements and put it in one dabba. Little by little, one day I'll add some other ingredient and I'll put that masala. So then, Ma, today this is very nice, you have tried very new one. So I'm like, okay, fine, good. You be in that mode only, I'll be in this mode only. That's fine, that's happy for me. And and it is not controlled also. You have to change, because these days you find many hotels, restaurants, everyone. So if you don't provide at home, they go outside and eat. So you have to make changes at home, and it can't be controlled also. The changes cannot be controlled. Only thing what can be controlled with the process of changing is how we react to the changes. It's like if any person is changing, or if we ourselves are changing, we should know the person who is changes, like how to control as first. It's like when somebody, if they come home, suddenly they'll be like, oh, hi, how are you? Fine, I'm happy. And sometimes after half an hour or 1 hour, it'll be like, hey, who asked you to do this? Who asked you to sit there? Get up. So I'll be like, always, okay, good. Go ahead, fine, score, fine, go. You want to be happy? Fine, go. That's how it should be. I feel. That's my personal experience I'm sharing now. So to make changes in the way people are communicating today in the world. So Ross's medley on October 22nd, 1924 in YMCA, California, he took a step to change everybody how they communicate, to understand better way of communication. He introduced a Toastmaster Club. Now the Toastmaster members are having 282,000 plus memberships around 144 countries, through 14,700 member clubs across the world. So he is the one who showed everybody how to change the communication process. This meeting consists of mainly 3 parts. One is the prepared speech, where the speaker will be given time to prepare for his speech and to deliver the speech here. And second one is the table topic master, where it will be given, topics will be given randomly and he or she has to speak. And third is the evaluation, where whole the meeting is evaluated and given the feedback. Now to take further the meeting process, we have 4 roles which has to be done today. That's that. As and when I call upon the role takers, I request the role takers to come and explain what the role exactly is for the guests, so that they can understand better. Now I call upon timer Sharanye.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mamatha. Change is inevitable, but the only thing which will not change is time. Only we have to change accordingly. A very good evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and dear guests present here. As a timer, my main role is to keep track of time and make sure time is used effectively. For the prepared speech session, I'll be raising the green card at 5 minutes. yellow card at 6 minutes, and red card at 7 minutes. Coming to the next session, which is the table topic session, the speakers have to limit their remark to no more than 2 minutes. I'll be raising the green card at 1 minute, yellow card at 1 minute 30 seconds, and the red card at 2 minutes. Next comes the individual evaluation session, which should be between 2 to 3 minutes. The individual evaluator should limit the remark when I raise the green card at 2 minutes, yellow card at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and the red card at 3 minutes. I'll be submitting my report during the general evaluation. Thank you and bye.
Now I call upon our counter Abhimaan.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the R counter is to note the words and sounds that are used as pause filler by anyone who speaks. As this is my first role, please excuse the R's which I use. I will listen for overused words, including well, but, and so. I will also listen for filler sounds, including and I will also note when the speaker repeats a word or phrase like I, or this means. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times each speaker used these expressions. Thank you.
Now I call PP Evaluator Anusha.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I am enmarked as Parliamentary Procedure Evaluator for this session, and I have the privilege of overseeing the conduct of our meeting so that they move on smoothly and adhere to all our guidelines. So I'll be mostly looking into, I request all of you to refrain talking sensitive topics such as sex, religion and politics. Moreover, let's be mindful of our speaker's presentation, so that to minimize distraction, let's only enter or leave the room only during applause, and I will give the report at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Now I call upon Grammarian Sushruth.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. That day, our PT teacher entered the class like Ulidavaru Kannante hige. Pata poster Nikla hero. He came and he told, kids, be silent for 1 minute. Our principal sir just passed away in the corridor. For the 5th standard me, it's a good usage. For the grammarian me, it's a bad usage. Because a wrong thing in a sentence can deliver a big message like, kids, it's a holiday for you guys today. So I'm earmarked to note down all the good and bad usages done by the speakers behind the lectern. And it's also my duty to introduce the word of the day, earmark, which means be chosen for particular purpose. I'll be giving my reports when called upon, and that's it.
Now it's the first session of today's meeting. I call upon Evaluator 1, it's Vijay sir, to read out the evaluation guidelines.
Good evening, Toastmasters. Welcome, guys. The purpose of this project is for the member to identify his or her primary leadership style or styles. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her primary leadership style or discuss leadership styles in general. Notes for the evaluator. During the completion of this project, the member responded to a questionnaire to help identify his or her primary leadership style. About this speech, the member will deliver a well-organized speech about some aspect of leadership styles. The member may choose to speak about his or her own leadership style or leadership styles in general and their impacts. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style the member chooses. The speech should not be a report on the content of the Understanding Your Leadership Style project. All the best to the speaker. Back to you, MC.
Now the speaker. She is working in HRD at Infocon. She has done her diploma in counseling skills from Banjara Academy. She is passionate about life. She loves to add colorful feathers to her cap with her versatile interests. She is a voracious reader, more of friction. She believes there is no stranger in this world, only friends whom we are yet to meet. The title of the speech is The Black Page, and she is attempting level 3 elective project. Let's welcome the speaker, Jyothi.
As I plowed through the library of stories, I remembered the Kannada medium, government school, second PU, married girl in HR department. What a way, oh, what a way was created. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. It was one of those heavy and silent days at work. When hidden from the world, in an empty room, I saw a group of security personnel chatting away to glory. Among them was one young girl named Amina. I looked at her, and with furrowed brow, I beckoned her to my office. She came into my office and uttered two giant words. I'm sorry. Instead of leaking and puncturing her esteem, I pulled out her file. I saw that she had completed second PU and had basic knowledge of English. I heard managers and bosses throwing around their weight and leaving no space with their crude word to pull down their subordinates. I did not mention this to her manager. Instead, I sent him an email stating that henceforth Amina will be under my guidance for this job. Then onwards, Amina had to religiously practice on computers. I guided her with Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and ethics of email writing. She had to read employee handbook, policies, and procedures. With face like a blank page, she marked the words and sentences which she did not understand or had doubts. As I explained to her the black and white words, I could see the meaningful sentences spraying on her face, coloring with colors. We then moved on to the next step of speaking in English. Initially, it was very difficult for me because I had to speak at a very slow pace with the minimum and the basic vocabulary for her to understand. But over a period of time, Amina started weaving garlands of words. I was aware there would not be recruitment for a few months, and I needed an assistant for the daily routine work. As always, Lady Luck favored me and I got Amina transferred to my department. My patience and perseverance, along with Amina's relentless effort, made her perform the urgent, important daily routine HR task flawlessly. With gleaming efficiency, she also began to prepare documents, flowcharts. She sent emails, coordinated, organized meetings, and wrote minutes of meetings, emailed it to the different departments whenever required. Wow. As Tom Peters says, true leaders do not create followers, they create many more leaders. And thus, Amina, you bet, she was the one who took over the orientation program for new joiners when they joined and also trained HR department people. Let me take you back to the year 2012 when my journey as leader began. I I was privileged to get into Infocon, a company with 400 employees. I had to create the HR department and I had no clue about the role and responsibility of an HR person. And so did my directors. They said, Jyothi, we are also new in this area. We may make some mistakes, but eventually we will learn and succeed. Within a month, I met each and every employee individually. My takeaway was, most of them lacked appreciation and acknowledgement for the efforts they put in their work, either at office or workplace. Let me tell you here, the Infocon's founders' vision was to create employment for freshers who had the potential but had not completed graduation, maybe because of their family or financial problems. And hence, most of them were the first generation of white-collar job. During my Saturday activities, I introduced them to the art of self-appreciation. I told them to pat themselves on the back for the wonderful job they do and a tight hug to themselves for the unique and warm person they are. It was very weird for them. They did not realize that they could like and appreciate themselves. But as Yuval Harari says, human beings' superpower is the ability to cooperate. And these people, when they appreciated themselves, they connected themselves emotionally and they realized that they could do much more, and there was a shift. Now here in Toastmasters, I understand there are different styles of leadership. They are affiliative, authoritative, altruistic, bureaucratic, coaching, innovative, and pace-setting leadership styles. When I look back to these two instances, I belong to the coaching style. In this style, the leader concentrates on individual to build their skills. And I have done that, giving my complete support. I have discovered the I've discovered the power of word, which makes an impact on individual. And as I have mastered coaching style, I would like to take up another style, maybe pace setting, where the leader in a group enhances them to motivate with a positive outlook. With this, it is my prideful moment to say that the blank sheet has been colored with efforts, has been rewarded with colors of efforts. I would end my speech, but before I leave, I would want to say, to be successful in your career, regardless of your title and designation, focus on developing your leadership skills. And thank you. Over to the MC.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your inspirational speech and self-care, how to do self-care speech. That was good. Now I call upon the evaluator to Toastmaster Pavani to read out the guidelines for the speaker to.
A very good evening, everyone. The speaker is attempting level 1 project 3. Purpose statement. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice using vocal variety or body language to enhance a speech. Notes for the evaluator. During the completion of this project, the member has spent time learning about and practicing their body language, including gestures and other non-verbal communication, along with their vocal variety, including pace, pitch, tone, and volume. About this speech, the member will present a well-organized speech on any topic. Watch for the member's awareness of their intentional and unintentional movement and body language. Note distracting movements as well as movements that enhance the speech. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style the member chooses. Use this evaluation for speakers who have indicated they want to be evaluated on body language or body language and vocal variety. If the member has indicated they only want to be evaluated on vocal variety, please use the speech profile available on the base camp. I'll be giving my evaluation during general evaluation. Back to you, Anusha.
Thank you, Evaluator, for reading the guidelines. Now the second speaker, she is working as a data analyst. She loves to travel and see new places. Her dream is to travel all over the world. She loves to go to gym. Her hobbies are reading novels, motivational plus fictional novels, and she's playing and watching lawn tennis. The title of the speech is "The Train of Success is Still Rolling." She is attempting level 1 and project 3. Let's welcome speaker 2, Mehjabin, to give her the speech.
It's a train rolling with an iron horse with an iron wheel. Its stop is destiny. There it is, just beyond the hill. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guests. The train that I am talking about is not a Vande Bharat train or anything that you can use for a free vacation. No, the train that I am talking about is a metaphysical train that can transport all of us to success. The most remarkable thing about this train is it has transport all of us, each one of us. We have ridden at it one time or another. Each one of us, all of us, are the product of fabulous competition to select unique or particular genetic chromosomal makeup to produce the winning design, you. We all are winners. We know that, or we knew that when we were children. This is a story of a little boy with a big dream. A dream that has capacity to change your life. A dream that expands you. A dream that not only shows who you are, but what you can become. So this is a boy had a dream to playing football. It was his long life dream, and he did. Ever since he was 2 to 3 years old, he would be with the ball all day long. One day, his parents said, "Our boy is so good at this sport. Let's go and take him for a tryout." So they take him for a tryout to his one of big clubs in his country. There are some guys who are looking at him. They said, "Yeah, this boy got some skill. Look at him. He plays so well and amazing. But something wrong with him." What is wrong with him? He is too small. He is definitely too small. So they take him to the doctors to check him out. The doctor said, "Yeah, something wrong with this kid. And it's not minor thing. In fact, it's a rare disease. It's a big thing. And the big thing is that he was born with growth hormone deficiency, which means his body refuses to grow." So the guys who were there about to sign a contract with him, they said, "We're not going to do this because the boy was born broken." You know, the boy was broken with a broken pencil. What he did, he said, "I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna keep focusing on my all dreams, and I'm gonna make my dreams bigger than my obstacles, and I will make whatever it takes. I will make my dream comes true. Even though I'll have to do really difficult things like sticking needles inside my leg and seeing each day if my body is growing, I will do that." He said, "I will learn to play football in a different way. I'm not in a different way. So he did. You know what he did? With a broken pencil, he got one sharpener and he sharpened his pencil. Because he kept believing himself. He never gave up. He focused in his dreams. Any guesses who am I talking about?
Messi.
That is exactly correct. The one and only, the greatest player in the whole world, Lionel Messi. It was definitely not easy for him because he practiced. Practice makes what? Absolutely not. Dismantle the belief system. Practice makes improvement. You can always better than your best. You can always go beyond anything that you have ever done. You will never hit a state of perfection. So all you can better your new breakthroughs through practice. So you will get better and better. So there's some sort of train for all of us to ride to success, especially when we compare ourselves with others. After all, she is smarter than I am, and he has more talent than I do, and she is far looking than I am. Well, maybe not. But the point is, when we compare ourselves with others, that's not the measure of success. The success is not me, it's you, it's we. Better tomorrow what we are today. We all have heard about this story before, about this little engine. It's believed and chanting. Listen, it's saying, I think I can. It's now in your heart to this day. I think I can. Because that train is still rolling with an iron horse. With your iron will, your next stop is destiny. Because the train of success is still rolling. All aboard! Thank you, and back to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mehjabin, for that very great speech on success, including train and rolling. Now we move on to the earmark session, that's table topic session. She adores or she likes to travel the world, and she embraces the role of a traveler also, not just a tourist. She wholeheartedly believes in the power of exploration. In addition to her love of adventure, she is passionate about children. So she chose that profession. She worked in Achieve School of Education, established in 2012. She is closely involved and interested in their growth. She has embarked on a new endeavor called A+ under the Achieve Group. This initiative is dedicated to nurturing and guiding children to become their absolute best. Let's welcome Toastmaster, table topic master of the day, Keerthana.
Good evening, Toastmasters.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes. Of course, we need to get our pulses high and up. Okay, we had two fantastic speakers. One told us about how it is, in the corporate world. The other one just made me feel ugly, but that's okay. But that's okay. I'll get back to you sometime. Okay. Jokes apart. Get ready for an exciting time. Curious to know what we're going to have now? Yes or yes?
Yes.
Yes. So today's change is inevitable. So that is the topic. And trust me, the first time Ujjwal told me that this is the topic, I was like, oh my God, this word change, you can use it in so many ways. Because the first time I heard when he said that change is inevitable, I was almost completely drenched and I was going home. And then I changed to my old tattered nightie. I was like, wow, this is the change everybody wants. So change has so many different connotations. So we are going to be exploring all of that one by one today. A few important things we need to take into notice, that it's totally an impromptu session. So that means when you come here, you get an opportunity to learn, grow and thrive, not just here, but to use it when you go out. I guess that's why we all come here, so that we go, inches and notches higher when we go out of this door. And secondly, please be mindful of the time. We have a wonderful timer, a very good looking timer. We are on good looks today. So it's going to be 1 minute. She's going to be showing the green card. 1.5 minutes, she's going to show the yellow card. And for 2 minutes, she's going to show the red card. So that means we have only 2 minutes. And trust me, even Maggie doesn't get over in 2 minutes. I don't know who says Maggie gets over in 2 minutes. I kept a timer once. I was like, no, it's not a fully cooked Maggie. Okay, so I have chosen very simple topics. So that the idea is, we get to spend at least 2 full minutes here. So please try to use maximum time when you're here, the complete 2 minutes, because you never know, you can get a brilliant idea at the end, right? So let's start. So, okay, we're going to do it this way, okay? So I'm going to tell the topic and I'm going to walk up to you and I'm going to shake your hands. So you're all nervous now. All good looking people are nervous. Okay, done. The first and foremost topic. How has a recent change in your life impacted your personal growth? How has a recent change in your life impacted a personal growth? Someone who comes late has to benefit, right?
Okay, so the topic is how a recent change in your life affected your personal growth. Okay, so to be very frank, I started working very recently. It's just like 8 to 9 months ago, and it's not even 1 year as of yet. And to be very frank, even after an MBA, I'm still a fresher. And it so happened that the very first week of my job, I was into the job and everything. I spoke to my manager. It was so hectic, it was so toxic, and I told him, listen, you can keep the job, I'm quitting. And this happened on a Sunday because he wanted some work to be done, and he called me instantly, and I told him, after a month I'm taking a leave off and you cannot make me work. And I told him, keep the job, I'm quitting, I'm not coming. And after that, the HR got involved and they just spoke to me and they asked me, what exactly are you facing? We can take the work now. And then they came up with a procedure, a process of how to streamline things and how exactly they can make everyone happy and work in a very effective way. Just last month, he got fired, the so-called manager, who made me work, made me work on Sundays too. But when he was leaving, I shed a tear. Because in the span of 7 to 8 months, when we worked together, I changed as a person. I wasn't anymore the same person who didn't want to work on after 6 p.m. I wasn't the same person who wanted to quickly pack my bags and leave home because my share of the work was done. I was now an individual who wanted to contribute things, who wanted to make sure my name popped up when something really great happened, who wanted to be part of his work, to know someday I can be the person whom he can trust and also do the same work that he was doing, because he was an industry leader. And over a period of time, I realized that from fresher to a working professional, it's not much of a change. You expect a lot of things to change. You think somebody is going to monitor assignments, your work and other things. But end of the day, it's just friends whom you work with. Because on the last day when I cried and I felt, this guy is going, what do I do next? There was a new manager, there was a new friend. And I think every person teaches you something, and I hope you should just be adaptive. Thank you.
I've earmarked so many things that Sindhu just said. So moving on further, share a time when you had to adapt to a major change unexpectedly. How did you handle it? Share a time when you had to adapt to a major change unexpectedly, and how did you handle it?
Madam Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Way back in 1998 when this club started, I was the earliest to complete a level. In those days it was called Competent Toastmaster. In fact, the founder UK Sharma put my photograph on the notice board saying that he was the one who, I didn't want that kind of limelight at all. I'm a man who is always behind, one step behind where the action is, but behind that I take a lot of initiative to make things happen. This is my nature. When he put that, the management took a note of that and they made a note. This is the guy, he must be having extra time on his hand. Whereas I didn't. And I was heading a certain group and later on a department itself. That's another story, that's fine. But suddenly one day, they called me, they said that TQM has come, they were forcing something on the management. That is, we didn't have a formal HRD. She's an HR resource. I'm talking of development, engineering development. How is it that placed in Mekong? And my in charges put together everybody, the upper management in the office, called a meeting and they anointed me right next to them, made me sit next to them, and they said this is going to be the person who will develop the HR or the development side of engineering. I was not qualified person at all. I was an engineer inside out. But one thing I knew, how to develop my engineers right under my nose. And that method, whatever method I had learned myself in the process of the one who is doing the engineering, I knew how to do it. And that I put together as a system. Even today it's being used, I know that. So the idea is that from the scratch you can develop a person. Not only that, subsequently they said, okay, this guy has a lot of ideas to develop. So they said that something else came in, knowledge management. It's a new buzzword at that time. So they said that let me take this Prabhakara to that. They said that, okay, one more anointment. At that time, I knew that the only way to cut down the project cycle time at that point of time is to have a store of the drawings and documents and the works that is already there in Mekong into the digital form. And in a very big scale it was taken up. Today knowledge management system still works in this place, and they have other offices also took up on the same idea, the way to implement. So the way to handle change is look at it from the fundamental side. There's a way to view the whole problem either from part to whole and whole to part. And if there's a handshake, your job is done. Over to table topic master.
Thank you, Prabhakara. You just make everything look so easy. The next topic is discuss a significant change in technology that has greatly influenced your life. Explain a significant change in technology that has greatly influenced your life. And it goes to you.
Hi, all the Toastmasters. I'm really worried about these table topics because the kind of the attention grabbing thing, suddenly it won't come actually what to say about thing. But coming to technology, what I noticed recently is, so basically I use a tool called Photoshop. So it is currently getting updated with most of AI things actually. The very recent update is, so it is called generative fill. So if you select and if you put some option, so it will immediately create a image or whatever we desire actually. That is the recent development which is happening in the artificial side. So thank you.
Thank you for your knowledge here. And the next is, sex, religion and politics is ruled out here. So I don't want to be accused of being a right-winger, so I'm going to turn left now. Okay. Okay, So now, oh wow. How has your perspective on change evolved over time? How has your perspective on change evolved over time? Please share your personal example with us.
Madam Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. How has the change evolved in my life over the years? Let me just share my own experience. You know, the one problem with all the married women, rather their aim in life is to change their husbands. For some women, it is their lifelong mission. Like my wife. She has been for all along, she is trying to change me. You know, I am very popular amongst there's some Mahila Mandali happening in our house. So I am popular amongst the ladies around the world because I do some arts and things for them. And they tell my wife and coo them, your husband is so nice person. So my wife is not alarmed. Because for two reasons. Number one, maybe she thinks that my bald head and grey hair is enough insurance against any hostile takeover from unknown parties. Second thing, she believes how successful she has been in changing me. Like you know, the training and such, you know, she's like all women are like this circus ringmasters, you know, with that hunter one side, and the lion gets on. Only some lions like me, some occasionally do, occasional, but still on the stool. So for last 44 years of my life, I continue to be in my stool, pretending to be getting changed. And doing my own thing from behind. So my wife is satisfied. She thinks that she is on the path to changing me, and she is happy. I am happy. This is what we call a win-win situation. So that, let me tell you a secret. For last 45 years of my married life, I have been successful in keeping the secret, and she is also happy, I am also happy, and I think I have given enough ammunition for the husbands. I think you can practice in your own life and you will be successful. With that, back to you.
Thank you, sir. It's been my dream to meet your wife once. So I hope I get to meet her, and it's no longer a secret now. Okay, moving on. Share an inspiring story of someone who embraced change and achieved remarkable success. Share an inspiring story of someone who embraced change and achieved remarkable success. I lean towards the right.
So one person who has helped me change remarkably is our own club member. I think few might know her name, few might not. Toastmaster Sridevi. Right. So she was my second mentor, and it was back in It was back in 2019 when I had freshly joined Mecon, and it was our milestone meeting, 1000th meeting. That's when she told me, Udanka, I want you to take up some role. I was like, some minor role is enough for me. She's like, no, you have to take up a major role, and since you're in EC, I'm giving you a major role to book the venue. It started off with venue, moved on to food and beverages, moved on to bouquets, moved on to mementos and whatnot. Half of the arrangement was on me, but I never gave up. With the help of AKP sir and MU sir, we had a good, successful event that night. But later, she gave me a call and told me, Udanka, since I've seen you work, why don't you take up roles next? I'm like, Sridevi, I'm not ready for this. First, let me settle down in Toastmasters, then let us see. But she never told, okay, but she told, you have to go forward. And without your opinion, I'm nominating you for some role, you are going forward, is what she told me. And that's it, rest is history. From that day till today, many of you have seen me grown. So everything, whatever I'm standing here today, I give a big shout out to my mentor back then, Toastmaster Sridevi. That's one person who has remarkably influenced me in my Toastmasters journey, and great thanks for back to you, Prabhakara.
Udanka, I have a serious question for you. When are you starting an event management company? You know everything now.
As soon as you find me.
We'll discuss that. Okay, so moving on. How do you deal with resistance to change, either in yourself or in others? How do you deal with resistance to change, either in yourself or in others?
Thank you, table topic master, fellow Toastmasters. It's a very good topic she has given to me. And past 2 years, we are all seeing that after the pandemic, we are all stuck everywhere, whether it's office or family or with the children's education or coming to entertainment, anywhere changes happening. What she was asking me is that how you are handling the resistance to change. There is a 2 point here I want to tell is that one is expect the unexpected. This is one quote, I got it from the many forums where I am going there. They are telling that from the morning to evening we are getting the changes and we cannot able to handle it. So first of all, you accept it. How you will accept? If you get that point that expect the unexpected, at least the mind started saying that please calm yourself and start accepting it. That's one thing. And another one is, the second point I want to say that be curious from the morning to evening. Definitely we cannot handle it, we cannot change it. At least accept and be curious and know that there is this change is going to bring a new life into your life. Whether it's coming to development or it's going to give you a growth. And whenever we see that any change we are afraid, you need not be afraid on the changes if you are having curious mind. And the second one is expect the unexpected, and from there onwards if you move forward, definitely growth and development will be a positive side in your life, whether it's a family or it's an office or the children's education or growth, or even coming to your entertainment in your life. Back to you.
Thank you, sir. We're going to remember that for a long time. Moving on. What strategies do you use to embrace and navigate through inevitable changes in your life? What strategies have you used so far? What strategies have you used so far? What strategies have you used so far to embrace and navigate through all the changes you made in life? Please share your gems. No,
Table topics master, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I need to first change the way I hear because it took me a while to understand the topic. Well, as the theme for today goes by, change is inevitable. We all go through changes every single day of our life, and sometimes it's really difficult to navigate through them. We may find it hard, we may find it, was it worth it, was it necessary? But we adapt to things as we go on. We see what we really like, what we really want to do, and we adapt accordingly. Like K Prabhakara said, see the bigger picture. You will change yourself accordingly to that picture. When I was in NCC back in 2nd PUC, the one thing that I had to do was have a very short military haircut. And I was really shy of having that haircut because I've had a decent long hair for a long time, and I was very scared and I was very shy to have that haircut. But one NCC camp that I went there changed my perspective all over. That major colonel who was sitting there, he told me,
he particularly told it to me because I had not cut my hair for the camp, and he told me, "You're not trying to prove that you can have a long hair here. You're not trying to show that this is a fashion place. But having that haircut will show that you're disciplined and you can also change and adapt to where you want to be. Getting a haircut is not a big deal, but are you ready to change to adapt?" This one sentence stayed with me throughout. And every time I want to change something, I always think, adapt to the times, adapt to the situations, be like water, and you will get your answer. Back to the topic.
Be like water indeed. Okay, moving on. Discuss a change you would like to see in the world and how do you plan to contribute to it. Discuss a change you would like to see in the world and how do you plan to contribute.
Good evening, Toastmaster and dear guests. How do I plan to change the world? Firstly, I think changing the world is a very big task, and it's not for a single person to change the world and its way of thinking. The world runs by individual people's perspective and their opinions, and one might be wrong, no, one might be correct, and to the other person it might be wrong, but it's correct in their way. So it's hard to change the entire world's perspective. What you could do is probably start by changing yourself first. It could, my mom always says this, so I'm just going to use that here. It probably just starts by cleaning cupboard or folding your clothes or waking up on time and doing things you tell. So changing world is still like a big thing. Start by changing yourself and go on implementing your thoughts on other people. And if they see the same effect that you're seeing, then it might be a small step to creating a positive way around. Thank you.
I guess all moms are the same. My mom is the same and I am the same. Okay, moving further. How has COVID-19 pandemic brought about an unexpected change in your life and how have you adapted? How has the pandemic brought the unexpected changes in your life and how have you adapted?
Good evening, everyone. As you all know my name is Karthik. How COVID has changed my life? That is a point where I realized so that I can get back to my studies as well as where I started my hotel management at the point of view at the time. It realized me education is important, being better than nothing. Where we came across COVID situations, you might know how people all of them learned cooking as well as how to deal with the relationship. How can we stay alone? People who are affected with COVID and everything, how the mindset is during the COVID time, like each other can't be like meet after a long time, or it was couple of years that we could not see to each other faces. Like it helped people by realizing how people are in the situation around the world, and that's it I can say. Thank you.
Thank you, Karthik. Thank you so much. And we have one last topic, and that goes to Latha. So I'm not going to kill you in suspense anymore. Okay. So share an example about how embracing change has positively impacted your career. Share an example of how embracing change has positively impacted your career.
Good evening everyone present in the room.
Now the change, what I would talk about is the year when we all were hit by COVID, and to my unfortunate, I was even had a hairline fracture during that time, and we all know the restrictions what we have. So the restriction what I could also have that I can't sit for even a minute. So I was told that either you sleep or you just stand. You can't sit. But being a person who is very active all the time, who doesn't like just lazing around, who wants every minute of her day to be very productive, not busy. There's a lot of difference between being productive, there's a lot of difference between being busy. So I believe in being productive. Every minute, the 86,400 seconds, what we have in a day, it has to have some value to it. I need to add value to it. So then I started thinking, how do I do it? I can't sit, I can't work, I can't do my training sessions as I'm a skill development trainer. So how do I bring a change, or what I can add on, so that after once I threw a hairline fracture, what do I do next? So what I did was I started learning. Now when I tell learning, we humans have been taught that we need to keep learning, but we have never been taught that we need to unlearn at certain times. So that is this thing that struck me that Latha, now you need to unlearn, relearn. So I just started doing courses on LinkedIn, I started finding courses on my skills development, and I started improving myself as a person. People talk, if a skills development trainer, what do you need to improve? But people forget that as a skills development trainer, I need to improve every second. If my ratings are 5 out of 5, I need to always be 5.1 or 5.2. I can't be 4.99 ever. So this is what has come to mind, and I believe that this is the change I need to get. Be adaptive in life and see that how your next second can be better from what was previously. Thank you, everyone.
Unlearning is the key, and I constantly get to unlearn every day when I'm with my students. So that's one of the perks of being an educationist. So we are at the end of the table topics, and the intent for keeping it extremely light and humorous was because as a newcomer, I'd be like, okay, will my turn come? This topic is not okay, I'm glad I didn't come. So the idea of keeping it very light and jovial was for everyone to be relaxed, because once we are relaxed and once we are enjoying it, words and thoughts and everything will flow effortlessly and seamlessly. So yeah, change is inevitable, and change is a constant. And as Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that change is the law of this universe. Thank you.
Thank you, Keerthana, for that great earmarked session. Actually, today's table topic session was itself an earmark. We never see shaking hands and going to the people. We just was behind lectern and calling the names. Now we have a small networking break of 10 minutes, and after that we have an evaluation session. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. Now we are in the final session, that's the general evaluation session. Today's general evaluator, he's an MCOM graduate from Jain University. Currently is pursuing US CPA, a passionate quizzer who enjoys playing table tennis. Also the winner of the club level humorous speech contest. Let's welcome Toastmaster Shivaprasad.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mamatha, for that introduction. A very good evening to my fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. Good evening. It is now time for the general evaluation for today. And we have a very simple theme, a very basic, a very beautiful theme, nevertheless, which is change is inevitable. Last week we couldn't have our meeting in this room. We had to have it somewhere else. And this week we are back, and all the walls have been painted anew. So when we came back here, we had to take a little bit of time before we started off with the meeting. So I guess that might be the reason why our business session today commenced at 6:29 p.m. It should ideally commence at 6:15 p.m. But today, being just a second meeting of the term and all these changes around, I think we can excuse that. But from the next week onwards, the executive committee will have to press on, which includes me, to start bang on time at 6:15 p.m. So the business session commenced at 6:29 p.m. Our president, Toastmaster Balaji, recognized the presence of our area director, Toastmaster Vijay, and then the vice president membership made his announcement regarding the renewals for the next term. So I'd like to reiterate, please do renew as soon as possible. And also, I missed adding on one more thing. The district is providing every member and every new member who joins by the end of 31st of July with a personalized memorabilia or a small token of appreciation, maybe a keychain or a badge or something like that. So everybody who renews before the 31st of July will receive such a token. So that is also there, a small incentive for you all to renew once again. And in the business session, we missed out on the VPE's announcement for next week's role taker. So let us do that now. I'd like to call upon the VPE Toastmaster.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. For the next 2 weeks, we'll be having an icebreaker marathon, which means that we'll be having only the icebreaker speeches in the prepared speech session. The speech slots have been booked by Toastmaster Keerthana and Toastmaster Anusha. The MC role has been booked by Toastmaster Jyothi. The General Evaluator role has been booked by Toastmaster Lakshmi for the upcoming meeting. Except this, all other roles are open. The interested members can personally contact me for taking up the roles. Thank you and over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ujjwal. Once the business session was over, the charge was handed over to the Sergeant-at-Arms, Toastmaster Lakshmi, who's not here, but anyway, I'm sure she'll watch the recording. So, Toastmaster Lakshmi is somebody, I think, an ideal Toastmaster. Anybody who wants to learn how to do things, you can look at Lakshmi and take inspiration from that. Today was no different. She creatively started off by asking everyone to switch off their phones by linking it to the theme, and then she went on to speak about a guy on the railway track and how he could get run over if he sat there, but if he walked away, then only then his life could move forward. So linking it to the theme, which is change, is inevitable. And probably one suggestion that I could give Lakshmi and every other Sergeant-at-Arms, our associate is also here. So whenever you're, because you're the Sergeant-at-Arms, because you're the one starting the meeting, probably get a little quirky, probably look at the theme in a different angle and give it a different perspective and give it a humorous perspective maybe, or something that nobody has thought of, so that you give a kickstart to the meeting, so that everybody's attention is grabbed and the meeting begins in a lively atmosphere. So probably one example is, I remember DTM U Bhat, he had received, even today he received a table topic on change, and a few weeks back I think Toastmaster Jyothi had given him a table topic saying change is constant, and he took it in a different perspective about how his vegetable vendor did not give him change. So maybe if you're the Sergeant-at-Arms, this is your time to experiment, this is your time to do all those quirky things and try to grab attention. You are like a little 10-year-old kid, right, trying to do weird things and get attention. So you don't have to be that crazy, but you can do something similar to that and get everybody's attention, is what I feel. Other than that, the Sergeant-at-Arms, as usual, a beautiful introduction to the President, linking it to the theme, a very dignified, decent introduction. I'm sure Balaji felt very good about that. And the room has been set up very well, and the Sergeant-at-Arms, she has done her job, she has got the snacks and she has left. I don't know for whatever purpose she has left. And for that, let us give Toastmaster Lakshmi in her absence a huge round of applause. The President introduced, the President was introduced. He had the guest introduction on point, and then he went on to introduce the Secretary, giving you a couple of lines about the Secretary also. So I've never seen that being done until now. I think that is a very good thing that you're doing, Toastmaster Balaji, giving you a little bit of introduction to the Secretary also. And until today, the Secretary was just a monotonous job. She used to, whoever it was, used to come and give their report and go back. Now you're making them also feel good, right? So you're doing a great thing there. So that was very well done. Secretary, Toastmaster Sharanye, came on to read the minutes, flawless reading of the minutes. And this time the Secretary is like 7 a.m. and all, I don't care, 5 a.m. even know if she's awake at 5 a.m. while sending the minutes of the meeting. So for that wonderful job done, let us give Toastmaster Sharanye a round of applause. Then we had our President, Toastmaster Balaji, giving his speech with his signature humor, right? Talking to girls, how he never used to talk to girls, and then he started talking, and then he stopped, and then he started, and then he stopped again after marriage. Standard, typical Balaji right there, at his humorous best. And then he linked on to the trees in the rainy weather in Bangalore, and which tree you would like to be, a coconut tree or a hard barked tree or something like that. That was typical Balaji at his best. And then the speech was funny. And then he went on to link it to the theme, saying change is inevitable. He made it inspiring also. But one suggestion I can give Toastmaster Balaji is just setting up. He's now just getting into the presidential chair. This is just the second week of the meeting. Along with making it funny, along with making it inspiring, can you give it a presidential touch? Right, with that authority, stamping that authority on the meeting, saying that I am the one presiding over this meeting, making your speech a bit more maybe altruistic, maybe a bit more inspiring. And knowing you, I know this right here would be your practice also, along with the delivery also. So you can maybe give that angle to your speeches from now on, stamping that authority that I am the president of Mekon Communication. Right. Other than that, you introduced the Master of Ceremonies very well. You did your job very well. Let us give our President a thunderous round of applause. President then went on to introduce our Master of Ceremonies, which will come back to towards the end. Now let us get the evaluations for our individual speakers. Speaker number 1 was Toastmaster Jyothi Rao, attempting level 2 project 1. And her speech is being evaluated by Toastmaster Vijay. And before you come, I'd like to ask you if you have received the guidelines, the project PDF in advance.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Can I have your evaluation?
Thank you, G. Good evening, Toastmasters. Welcome guests. My target speaker, Jyothi, in particular. Blank page, the title. That itself made me to really, what is this? And the leadership style, how it is going to be correlated. That was very much in my mind. And after going through the resource material, I was wondering how you are going to make that connection. So you had done a wonderful thing. Your opening body and conclusion were in place. Your articulation and narration were really appreciable. Your body language were in synchronization with the topic that you delivered. You are very comfortable behind the lectern. You are moving around and use the space very nicely, aptly also. You identified your leadership style and gave the narration accordingly. Apart from that, general leadership qualities or the styles, those also have been enumerated very clearly with the examples of HR department or whatever it is. You have mentioned all the 8 type of leadership styles that fulfills your project requirement. Kudos to you. Ladies and gentlemen, give her a big round of applause. These are all the points where you have excelled at. Coming to the improvement point of it, I would like to say that it was more like a monologue. You could have just asked a question in between in your narration, so that ask a question to the right, some answer comes from there. Immediately ask the left, is that right or wrong? Thereby, the entire audience are going to participate in your entire narration or whatever it is. There is one thing that improvement you need to keep in mind, so that you will take your speech to the next level. Coming to the future goal that you mentioned, that pace setting style that you want to achieve. For that, you need to identify the attribute whether you have that or not. All leaders cannot be having all the styles put together. What I am good at, I need to understand my attribute inside. That is very important. Thereby, I need to work on it. Mere reading and studying something and giving some talk may not be helpful all the time. So it's always better identify your attribute. If pace setting is really helpful to you, that's what the attribute you have inside, definitely you can develop on that. Overall, it's a good speech, very inspiring. I expect many more speeches in due course of time. All the best. Back to you, GE of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vijay Upendra, for that concise evaluation. As usual, Toastmaster Vijay Upendra doesn't overcomplicate things. He keeps it simple. If you can see every evaluation of his, he says opening, body, conclusion. He focuses on the basics. So thank you, sir, for that evaluation. But one point that I want to bring up to is any evaluator gets hardly 3 minutes to evaluate. Right? In that span of time, I feel that as an evaluator, you don't have to ask the audience to applaud, because then anyway the applause will be there for the speaker and the evaluator, and it is taken for granted in Toastmasters, right? So you lose a few seconds there when you go on to that. So nevertheless, your evaluation was on point. And about Toastmaster Jyothi, it is not my job to evaluate her speech, but today I felt Toastmaster Jyothi was at her best. Never seen her this passionate, this emotional, and she's getting better speech after speech, and great usage of words she is, and I can't even imagine how much practice has gone into this speech, right? And this was the most confident I've seen Toastmaster Jyothi behind the table, I would say. So for that wonderful speech, let us give, and that wonderful evaluation, let us give the evaluator and speaker a round of applause. The ballot has been sent out on WhatsApp. I request all the members to vote only for the best speaker and best table topic speaker. And please do not submit the ballot yet. I hope you have done that. Let us move on to the second evaluation for today. The speaker number 2 was Toastmaster Mehjabin, attempting level 1 project 3, and was evaluated by Toastmaster Pavani. So before you come, Pavani, have you received the project PDF in advance? Okay. Can I have your evaluation?
A very good evening, everyone, and a special evening to my target speaker, Toastmaster Mehjabin. So firstly, a great start to your speech, and secondly, I want to mention that Toastmaster Mehjabin was very energetic and zestful throughout her speech. So kudos to you on that. Coming to the purpose statement, body language and vocal variety, it was evident that she accomplished her project purpose. Body language and the gestures she had throughout her speech was very evident, and the broken pencil was the cherry on top, I would say, and it helped to enhance your speech as well. Then it seemed like she was earmarked to tell the statement, practice makes improvement. Practice does not come from perfection, right? And her clarity was on point. She wanted to convey a message and she just told it up straight. Believe in yourself, don't compare yourself with anyone else. She has really worked upon her previous evaluation, that is eye contact, I would say. She was very confident, she looked into her eyes, she told directly to the audience. So good job on that. Coming to the vocal variety, your tone, you used it appropriately, even the pitch. When you wanted to convey a message, you raised your pitch and volume. That was brilliant. Just a small area of improvement I would suggest is you had too much movement in your speech. That was the only thing. Sometimes it distracts the audience. Movement is intentional and unintentional are good, but you had too much movement. When you had to convey a strong message, you can stand up straight, convey straight to the audience. You just don't have to move when you're conveying the message. So that is the area of improvement I would suggest. And to sum it up, you were very confident and zestful throughout your speech, as I told you. And you had a splendid content and message, great body language and gesture. pitch, tone, pace, and volume were on point. The perfect title for your content, I would say. You had anecdotes, which was brilliant. And thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pavani, for that comprehensive evaluation. I felt you covered most of the things that need to be covered. The speaker was attempting a project on vocal variety and body language, so she focused on those points. And definitely today, Toastmaster Mehjabin, again, I feel week after week, which I said last time also, is that she's growing, right? And the confidence is just growing by leaps and bounds every time she comes behind the lectern. And Toastmaster Pavani, your evaluation covered everything, and she said that the eye contact was great. I would like to slightly improve on that point. The eye contact, I felt at points when Mehjabin was trying to remember her speech, she kept looking at the floor every now and then. So yes, you were looking at the audience also, but I would say an equal amount of time you were looking at the floor also. So you can, have confidence in yourself. Maybe the exact lines that you have memorized may not come out, but the gist of it will come out when you're looking at the audience. You might forget a few things, but the gist will come out if you have enough practice, right? So that was a wonderful speech, Toastmaster Mehjabin. And one point, I shouldn't be evaluating the speaker, but maybe next time bring, along with a broken pencil, you can bring a sharpened pencil also to save you time, right? For that wonderful speech and for that great evaluation, let us give them a wonderful round of applause. With that, let us move on to the table topics master for today, the so-called debutant table topics master, Toastmaster Keerthana. Are you sure that this is your debut? Is what I'd like to ask you. Your intro to table topics was humorous, it was motivational, I felt it charged up people to come here and speak, right? So you already have it in you, you are just building upon those skills is what I feel. The topics that you came up with, first of all, this is your first ever time taking up the role, so you link all your topics to the theme, and if you asked me, some of the topics were amazing, right? Recent change that impacted your personal growth, and major change that unexpectedly how you dealt with that change. A couple of those topics that you gave to DTM K Prabhakara or DTM MU, but I felt today I saw them at their finest, right? I've never seen them in this zone. DTM MU but being the humor king, bringing out his humor, and DTM K Prabhakara and speaking in his idealistic manner. So you brought out the best from the speakers. And a couple of things that I can tell you, I felt by the time you covered, I think there were 10 speakers. By the time you got to speaker number 10, I felt a couple of topics seemed the same, right? Change, what changed, how did change impact you? It became a bit monotonous. So it seemed like you gave the same topics to a couple of members, right? So you could have worked on that. That is completely fine. Then you had a great choice of speakers. Yes, you chose everybody who didn't have a role on this day. So every Meconian is going to go home having spoken at the lecture. So that is a great thing you've done. Apart from that, the transitions were great. You have a great sense of humor. You built off what Mehjabin said, or maybe he said to you, and maybe not.
It's still a maybe.
So you did a great job there. You lightened up the atmosphere. You got everybody speaking, and the way of giving topics, going there and giving a handshake to the members reminded me of a certain member who's not a member right now. Right? So you did a great job there. So for that wonderful table topic session on debut, for a wonderful job done, let us give the table topics master a great round of applause. I think now we can have the reports from our TAPG team, which is, let us start off with the timer Toastmaster Sharanye.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Once again, good evening, everyone. Here goes the timer report for today's meeting. Meeting started at 6:30 p.m. The business session went on for 2 minutes 9 seconds. Welcome by Sergeant at Arms, that was by Toastmaster Lakshmi, which went on for 3 minutes, was allotted 2 minutes. Introduction to the guest was for 40 seconds. Then came the President Toastmaster Balaji, who spoke for 4 minutes 36 seconds, which was allotted 5 minutes. Introduction of Toastmaster of the evening was allotted 1 minute and it has taken 40 seconds. Report on previous meeting, that is reading of minutes of meeting, was by Toastmaster Sharanye and it has taken 2 minutes 10 seconds, which was allotted 2 minutes. Coming to the Master of Ceremonies, Toastmaster Mamatha, she took 7 minutes 48 seconds in total, which was allotted 10 minutes. The prepared speech session had 2 speakers today. Toastmaster Jyothi took 7 minutes 55 seconds. Toastmaster Mehjabin took 6 minutes 24 seconds. Coming to the table topic session, it went on for 29 minutes in total. The individual reports have been written on the board and I request everyone to have a look at it. We had 10 speakers, out of which 1 spoke below 1 minute, 5 spoke above 1 minute and 4 spoke above 2 minutes. The networking session went on for 11 minutes. Individual evaluators, Toastmaster Vijay has taken 3 minutes 2 seconds. Toastmaster Pavani has taken 2 minutes 17 seconds. Coming to the general evaluator, Toastmaster Shiva has taken 13 minutes 16 seconds in total. Thank you and back to you.
13 minutes already. Okay. Thank you, Toastmasters Sharanye, for that comprehensive timers report. Sharanye has made it a habit taking up timer now. And I once remember writing a check to Sharanye, timer equals to Sharanye. I don't know if she remembers that. And so she has told you that this was the time allotted and this is the time that the speakers have taken. That is, I think, more than enough. You can't expect anything more from a timer. So for that wonderful job, let us give Sharanye another round. Next had our debutant R-counter Toastmaster Abhimaan.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Here is the R-counter report for today's meeting. The speakers who used pause fillers were less than the number of speakers who didn't use them. So I'll just read out the names of the speakers and the number of times they used pause fillers for only those who used them. So Balaji used R 3 times. Udanka used R 1 time. Anusha used R 1 time. Karthik used R 3 times and 1 crutch word like. And Shivaprasad used R 1 time. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhimaan, for that debutant R-counter report. Just letting you all know, he has put in a lot of effort preparing for this role beforehand. And this is the first time he's taking up the role, so I'll not go ahead and evaluate it. Let us just give him another round of applause. Next had our Parliamentary Procedure Evaluator, Toastmaster Anusha.
Good evening, everyone. As your Parliamentary Procedure Evaluator, I'm thrilled to share that all the guidelines and the rules were adhered to. Everyone refrained themselves from using sensitive topics and all the distractions were not there. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anusha, for that generous PP evaluation. There was there was a little bit of mention about religion, but again, not in a harmful manner. I don't think it hurt anybody's sentiments, so that is completely fine. And there might have been a couple of phone distractions, so that is completely fine. And other than that, you've done a good job, Toastmaster Anusha. Let us move on to the Grammarian for today, Toastmaster Sushruth.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters again. The word of the day was earmark. The speakers who used it were Toastmaster Mamatha, Toastmaster Keerthana, Toastmaster Pavani and myself. Some of the good usages were omnipresent, reinforcement, paradigm shift, crude words, black and white words, garland of words, perseverance, color of efforts, iron horse and iron wheel, metaphysical, born broken, dreams bigger than obstacles, practice makes improvement, insurance against hostile takeover, expect the unexpected, be like water and you'll get your answer. Zestful, evident, and some bad usages were one time, two time could have been once, twice, and thrice. A assistance could have been an assistant. This is a boy could have been this boy. If my body is growing could have been if I can grow. And we have one dangerous usage. Her husbands could have been her husband. And back to general.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sushruth. I see you've done a wonderful job as a grammarian. This is, I think, third or fourth time you're taking it up, and every time he's built up on the previous time he's taken it up. And today he had a superb humorous intro at the beginning, referencing his principal passed away, not actually passed away, and all of that. And now, while giving the report, also his humor had come in. So for that, wonderful job done. And only one point I can suggest: you don't have to call it bad usages. You can call it not so good usages, right? That's the only thing. For that wonderful job, let us give Toastmasters Sushruth. Now we can finally come to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Mamatha. Toastmaster Mamatha, a very committed Toastmaster, started off with a very nice, relatable story. She is a homemaker. She started off with her own story. So with a personal story, I think you can relate better to the audience, right? So all of us who have had a traditional homemaker mother at our homes, all of us could relate to that, right? The kids complaining about the food is the same every day, and the kids don't acknowledge your effort, and all these problems that homemakers face, right? And not just homemakers, all parents face. You brought it out very nicely in your speech, and that you link to how you innovated in cooking and how change is inevitable in any aspect of life, right? So, and it was a concise speech. It was short as required for the Master of Ceremonies. You went on to link that to Ralph C. Smedley, about how he wanted to change the way people communicate. So that was a very smooth transition to Ralph C. Smedley, very well done there. And then you introduced about Toastmasters. So you have done a very good job as the Master of Ceremonies. Now, where can you improve? Maybe put a bit more effort into the introductions of the speakers. When this is for any Master of Ceremonies, you have to make the speaker who comes here feel like $1 million, feel like they are worth it, feel like whatever they are doing today, whatever the effort they have put in preparing is worth it, right? So you can maybe by heart a couple of lines of the introduction, not the whole thing, couple of lines. If there is a very difficult introduction, system development, management, engineer, maybe you can read that out. But the simple things you can remember, a couple of lines, so that the speaker feels good about themselves, right? That is one thing. And about the introductions, I want to bring this to the notice of every member who is going to take up Master of Ceremonies. And I noticed Toastmaster Mamatha also struggling for the introductions of the speakers, right? She was asking from the past 2 days. So what you can do, if you are the Master of Ceremonies, you can go to our rarely visited club website. And I'm not making this up, it is honestly rarely visited. If you're taking up a role as the Master of Ceremonies, or you're the President, or you're the Sergeant at Arms, you have to introduce somebody, you will find their complete introduction, up-to-date introduction with their level, project status, everything in that website. So you can log into that website, you can check their introductions instead of asking them over and over, and somebody might say, I'll send it to you, and then they don't send it. I'll send it to you, and then they don't send it again. So you can directly go to the website, save your time and save the others' time, because I can tell you, the VP education, the VP membership, not just the current ones, the past ones have also put an effort to make sure those intros are correct and up to date, right? So for that effort, I think you can go and check those introductions, anybody taking up the role of Master of Ceremonies. So that is one thing. And Toastmaster Mamatha, you were trying to make transitional remarks between the speeches, right? So after Jyothi went, you wanted to say something, that was a nice speech. And then after Mehjabin was done with her speech, you wanted to say something. After the table topic session, you wanted to say something. So how can you give these little transitional remarks in between and make it smooth? right? You don't have to crack your head too much for this. Maybe remember a couple of lines from the speech, grab onto it, and then come to the lectern and say those lines. So that gives a call back to the speech again. So you don't have to think too much about it. For example, Toastmasters Jyothi, today we learned that leaders don't create followers, they create more leaders, right? You summarize the speech in that line. And then maybe after Mehjabin is done, Mehjabin, I'm definitely, she concluded by saying all aboard, right? So Mehjabin, I'm definitely aboard that train. So you've given a great transitional remark, and then you go on to the next session. So apart from that, I think you've done a wonderful job as the Master of Ceremonies. You're a committed Toastmaster. She keeps taking up roles over and over, and she keeps improving. So for that, let us give our Master of Ceremonies a wonderful round of applause. With that, I think we've come to the end of the session today. The theme for today, just a few closing remarks. The theme for today's change is inevitable. And I remember when Ujjwal asked me, Shiva, can you take up General Evaluator for this week? And I told him, Ujjwal, this is the role that I struggle with the most, general evaluation. You have to you have to write down the entire meeting, whatever happens, the good points, the points for improvement. And it is almost like the entire meeting is your table topic, right? So I am still learning into this, I'm still building into this role is what I feel. And definitely change is inevitable, and I want to change and become a better general evaluator, and therefore you've seen me do this role today. And I hope I can become better over the many weeks or months that I take up this role. With that, I'll hand the charge back to the Master of Ceremony.
Thank you, Shiva, for that feedback. And it was a good evaluation too. And only I think MC gets the chance to speak about a general evaluator. Nobody else will get a chance. So now I hand over the charge back to the president. So let's welcome the
What a delightful day to have Toastmaster Shiva as the general evaluator. He almost looks like the flag bearer of Mekon right now. The way he stands there, I don't know, the second Toastmaster Shiva comes by in the lectern, I have a smile on my face. Just with the thought of what a club can do to you. But today I smiled twice because our MC was no less. We still remember Toastmaster Mamatha who would speak for 10 seconds and freeze. And today she was the MC and she was sitting there and making note of all the feedback with the intent, I'm going to come back and I'm going to come back strong. And for that intent, can I have a nice round of applause for the Toastmaster? But I think we had a fantastic meet, and I will continue to buy some time because some of you haven't filled in your responses yet. So feel free to fill in the responses. We have 17 responses so far. I guess enough to make my choice. So we'll start off with the best. Now that you submitted, I think my choices again have to change. Is everyone done voting? Great. The best role taker, tap G. Whenever she takes up this role, it's just quite evident that she will have to get it, not like the tag that I don't have to get. The best role taker, tap G, goes to Toastmaster Sharanye. Our timer goes. Our best role taker, MTG, Even with all the severe competition that he or she faced, he did win it. Toastmaster Shivaprasad. Best table topic speech, there was an extreme, very, very close battle of 100:1. Toastmaster, my bad, DTM U Bhat. Our best evaluator for the day and the best speaker of the day is been facing quite some high drama because it's been varying with 1 or 2 votes. But after all the high drama, we have our best evaluator. It is Toastmaster Pavani. I like how Toastmaster Pavani was looking for an alternative even before the results. now that's called confidence, right? And of course, we had 2 phenomenal speakers. Votes have to get 1 person on the top. And the best prepared speech, Toastmaster Jyothi. With that, I'd like to remind you all or ask you all a question. How many of you like saving money? Are you sure? Are you 100% sure? Very, very sure. Toastmaster Shiva, would you like to continue? So we all know what we're talking about. We're not saving 15 rupees, we're saving $15. If you all know the conversion, then you definitely know you have to renew maybe another couple of days, because like Toastmaster Shiva also induced another fear. If you do it in the last minute, maybe it won't get through. I would call it a ninja technique. With that, I'd love to close this beautiful meeting that I would wish continued for further. I now hereby close meeting number 1222.